President Barack Obama saying that Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind 9/11 terror attacks, is now dead. That has been confirmed by the president himself in a live special report tonight. The United States has bin Laden's body. Here's a live look at the White House where people are flooding the streets near the Pennsylvania Avenue celebrating. A senior Pakistan intelligence official confirms that bin Laden was killed in Pakistan in a mansion close to the Capitol. Again, his body is in U.S. custody tonight. Florida Congressman Connie Mack just released this statement, quote, that after 9 years, 7 months, and 20 days, justice has been served tonight. We should all remember those lost on September 11, 2001, and the brave men and women who sacrificed so much in pursuit of this coward who perpetrated the highest of crimes against mankind, end quote. That's the statement from Connie Mack tonight. We're also going to take a look at Times Square tonight, where people in New York are also flooding the streets celebrating the death of Osama bin Laden. We're going to go on to a package now from ABC News.
Osama bin Laden was born into one of Saudi Arabia's wealthiest families.
There's another live look outside of the White House. We'll have more updates on the major breaking news that terror mastermind Osama bin Laden is dead. You're looking at the White House where people are out there celebrating the developments. More after the break. President Barack Obama saying that Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind 9/11 terror attacks, is now dead. Thousands are packing the streets in Washington, D.C. celebrating this. The president says a small team of Americans carried out the attack in Pakistan and took custody of bin Laden's remains. He made the announcement in a dramatic late-night statement at the White House. A jubilant crowd gathered outside the White House, also gathering in New York as the word spread that Osama bin Laden is dead after years of a global manhunt to secure him. The justice has been done, the president said, and U.S. officials say Osama bin Laden's body will be handled in accordance with Islamic tradition. Tonight, ABC 7 is on fire watch locally as flames erupt in Charlotte and Glades County. We begin in Charlotte County, where initially 7 homes were threatened, but only 2 were damaged tonight. The fire is now 95% contained, but the mop-up effort will likely continue all night. ABC 7's Katie Johnson takes a look inside of the flames.
Fast-moving winds helped propel the fire in ABC 7 News.
Meanwhile, in Glades County tonight, nearly 10,000 acres have scorched the central part of the Big Cypress Preserve. As you drive along I-75 or US 41, you may see smoke at times, but crews do have that fire 15% contained. And the American Red Cross has opened up evacuation centers at the Muse Community Center in LaBelle. No evacuations are in place just yet, but the fire is within 1/8 of a mile from a home. So far, 475 acres have burned in Muse, and it's 75% contained. Department of Forestry officials believe this fire started by lightning. And also in Collier County tonight, the Division of Forestry says this fire in Golden Gate Estates is still just 80% contained. Crews tell us the weather today was not as cooperative as they would have hoped. The brush fire started Wednesday and has burned more than 2,800 acres. The DOF says they will send crews back out again tomorrow. And it's time to turn off those lights along Florida's coast. Sea turtle nesting season officially began today, and several nests have already been spotted on our shores. Biologists say it's vital to get turtle-friendly lights along the beach and remove any furniture from the sand at night. And hotel guests can also help by shutting their drapes at night. Still ahead, there's another live look outside of the White House. We'll have more updates on the major breaking news that terror mastermind Osama bin Laden is dead. We go back to our top story tonight. Al-Qaeda mastermind Osama bin Laden is dead, and the United States has his body. That has been confirmed tonight by President Barack Obama during a live announcement on all major networks. An American official says Osama bin Laden was killed in a mansion close to the Pakistani capital. ABC's TJ Winnick reports.
Ocean.
Angry mobs in Libya have set Western embassies on fire in Tripoli. This after the Libyan government says a NATO missile strike killed one of Muammar Gaddafi's sons and 3 of his grandchildren. The grandchildren age ranges from 6 months to 2 years old. The unrest is forcing Britain and the United Nations to pull its international staff out of Tripoli. Meanwhile, NATO insists they only target military facilities, and the airstrikes were in response to Gaddafi's ongoing attacks on civilians. In other news tonight, survivors of Wednesday's killer tornadoes gathered in a church to mourn the dead today. So far, more than 340 people have been killed by the storm. Across 7 states today, there was a lot to pray for. New images show the remarkable before and after shots of a neighborhood swept completely clean of everything. Now a CSI tornado team will scour the back streets of Alabama to survey the damage, track the path of the storm, and then try to prevent future strikes.
I am confident that Phil Campbell, Hackleberg,
Homeland Security Chief Janet Napolitano and other federal officials flew in to assess the situation themselves today, but it offers little comfort to people who are facing just the beginning of a long road of recovery. And Senator Marco Rubio is clearing the air tonight, saying that he will not run for the 2012 presidential election. We'll have more on that. Plus, call it a lucky dog. Her beloved Chelsea disappeared more than a month ago. Tonight, how the two were finally reunited after the break. And it's scrubbed yet again. Repairs and testing will delay the launch of Space Shuttle Endeavour. At a briefing today, NASA officials said heating panels were not working properly and the fix is labor intensive. At this point, there's no exact date for the next launch attempt. Meanwhile, Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords flew back to Houston today for treatment at her Texas medical facility. She had been at the Kennedy Space Center to watch the launch. Her husband, Mark Kelly, is the shuttle's commander. Gifford, who was shot at a public event back in January, says she'll be back in Florida when her husband leads Endeavor's last mission. We'll call it a mutt miracle. A spunky little dog is back in the arms of his owners tonight after being missing for more than 74 days. We first told you about the little terrier mix named Chelsea back in March, shortly after the dog disappeared from her Fort Myers home. At the time, Chelsea's owner offered a $5,000 reward for her return. It wasn't until Easter Sunday when the owner received a call from someone who said they saw Chelsea in Punta Gorda. That's more than 30 miles away from her home. Chelsea's owner says she couldn't believe it.
Went to the house where she was found, and it was her. And we were just totally amazed because we know it's a miracle. Due to the circumstances, there's just no other explanation.
Chelsea's owner did live up to her promise and rewarded the people who found the dog. She tells us she plans to investigate how Chelsea disappeared in the first place. And stay close, sports is up next. And back to breaking news tonight. Osama bin Laden is dead. That's confirmed by the president tonight. You're taking a live look at the White House where crowds are gathering in the streets celebrating. We'll continue our coverage of this tomorrow morning on ABC 7 News Morning Edition. Good night.